Crashes in Formula One are synonymous with one another, and as sad as that may be, it makes sense. It's a high-octane sport where things can easily go wrong. One of the most recent crashes in Formula One happened just a few weeks ago, and it was intense. So, stay tuned to today's video as we discuss F1 star George Russell's amazing sacrifice to come to his rival's aid after a spectacular crash. First up, what happened with this crash? When a driver crashes in Formula One, there are many precautions in place to make sure the driver is safe and to allow the race to carry on after the track is cleaned up. In this most recent crash, there was contact between George Russell's Mercedes and Pierre Gasly's AlphaTauri. This sent Russell into the back of Zhou, leading to a massive crash. Zhou was sent into a roll and was eventually wedged between the wall and the fence. He was lucky to be alive, and Russell felt awful for what happened. Instead of heading to the pits, Russell decided to turn off his car and head over to help out Zhou. Turning off his car doesn't sound that bad, does it? He should just be able to go back and turn it on, right? Well, Formula One cars cannot actually start on their own power, meaning that Russell turning off his car shows that he cannot carry on with the race. There is also regulation in place, so a driver cannot have an outside source restart their car for them. Russell had no idea about this regulation. When I came back from helping Zhou, the car was already on the flatbed, and they said we couldn't restart. So it's annoying because the only issue we had was a puncture, he said. The car was generally fine. There was a little bit of damage, but nothing show-stopping. Russell's Mercedes team attempted to argue with the FIA to let him restart the race, to no avail. So apparently, as soon as you get assistance, you can't restart. So it's very frustrating because the car just had the puncture, and there's no doubt we had the pace to come back to P6 today. As president of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, Russell also urged the FIA to have to rethink of the way barriers and catch fences are designed, after it took crews more than 10 minutes to get the Chinese driver out of the car. We need to have a think to avoid the car being stuck in such a fine gap in the space between the tire barriers and the metal fence. He was just stuck there with nowhere to go, he said. It was an incredibly scary moment, not just for him, but I'm sure for everyone in the crowd as well. It was not nice to see. It's a shame that Russell couldn't carry on the race, but it shows how much of a considerate guy he is. He was involved in the crash, but was completely fine afterwards. Even his car was basically unscathed from the incident. He realized that Zhou was in a tough situation and could have died, so he risked his own place in that race just to help his colleague out. What a great guy he is. Usually in cases like this, there are arguments as to who caused the crash and who is penalized for it. In this case, none of that happened. The two drivers accepted the fault for causing the crash, which led to Zhou nearly dying in the process. What do you think about this Formula One crash and everyone surrounding it? Let us know down in the comment section below. And now, stay tuned for some more Formula One news from the last few weeks. Next, here are some of the most loved Formula One drivers the sport has ever seen. Number 5. Fernando Alonso. The Spanish driver won 3 racing championships in a row in Spain from 1994 to 1997. He was also known as the 3rd youngest driver ever to debut in the international event in Formula One history. During the 2001 Australian Grand Prix, Alonso drove for the first time. This led to his first win during the 2003 Hungarian Grand Prix, which was in his first year with Renault. Fernando Alonso also went on to win 2 consecutive seasons back in 05 and 06 in the Formula One World Drivers' Championships. His final race was during the 2014 Belgian Grand Prix, where he placed 4th. There's no wonder he's regarded as one of the best. Number 4. Sebastian Vettel. The current Red Bull Racing driver Sebastian Vettel debuted in 2007 and achieved the 7th position. In 2008, he was voted Rookie of the Year at the annual Autosport Awards, and in the 14th race of the 2008 Formula One season, Vettel won his first Grand Prix title. 2009 was a great year for him, as it was the first year he raced for Red Bull during the Formula One season. This was also where he finished as the youngest ever World Drivers' Championship runner-up. Later, he also won Formula One World Drivers' Championship 4 consecutive times, from 2010 to 2013. Up until now, Vettel has gained 29 wins in Grand Prix, 45 pole positions, and 1,549 career points in total. Number 3. Lewis Hamilton. As one of the best racing car drivers in the world, Lewis Hamilton stands tall at the number 3 spot. With his 98 race victories and 171 podium finishes, he is one of the greats. The racer has driven under Mercedes, Manor Motorsport, ASM Formula 3, and ART Grand Prix. During his time under Mercedes, he helped them win the Formula One World Constructors' Championship 7 times consecutively since 2014. He also achieved the Formula One World Drivers' Championship, a grand total of 7 times as of writing this video. Hamilton also achieved the DHL Fastest Lap Award a whopping 5 5 times as of now. He received both the Autosport International Racing Award and the Autosport British Competition Driver of the Year Award 7 times each. Number 2. Michael Schumacher. In the second spot on this list is the legendary Michael Schumacher. Schumacher was the world's first billionaire athlete. During his 1991 Belgian Grand Prix debut, the driver finished 7th, and in 1992, he achieved his first Drivers' Championship title. Schumacher is the only Formula One driver in history to finish in the first position in 5 consecutive seasons. He achieved this between 2000 and 2004. His last win was sadly in 2006, during the 2006 Chinese Grand Prix. He then went on to work as a brand ambassador for Ferrari and work as a car developer for them as well. The last race of his career was in 2012, during the Brazilian Grand Prix, where he finished 14th place. With 91 wins and 72 Grand Prix victories, Michael Schumacher is without a doubt one of the best Formula One drivers in history. Number 1. Ayrton Senna. Finally, the number 1 spot goes to Ayrton Senna, the legendary Brazilian Formula One racing champion. Senna made his professional driving debut during the Brazilian Grand Prix in 1984, where he qualified in 17th place. The second race of his career was in the Portuguese Grand Prix that took place back in 1985. In this race, he achieved his first World Championship point. The driver won the title of Formula One World Championship for drivers in 1988, and he won the same for a second time in 1990. He won the title for the third time in 1991, where he became the youngest 3-time world champion. Senna then won his last race during the 1993 Australian Grand Prix. Sadly, due to significant blood loss after an accident in 1994, the driver died. Senna had an amazing and glorious career, which makes him the most loved Formula One driver according to our list. And finally, we have Formula One Las Vegas, confirmed to host Grand Prix races from 2023, becomes the 3rd yearly race in the United States. Las Vegas is finally joining the Formula One races once again, and everyone is ecstatic about it. The 3.8-mile track will include a portion of Nevada Resort City's famous strip. It will be a night race and will be held on a Saturday. The 8-hour time difference will mean it is broadcast early on Sunday morning in Europe. Las Vegas joins the US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, and the new Miami event, which makes its debut in May this year. F1 President Stefano Domenicali said, "This is an incredible moment for F1 that demonstrates the huge appeal and growth of our sport with a 3rd race in the US. The move is the culmination of more than 3 decades of F1 trying on and off to secure a race in Las Vegas that incorporates the strip as part of the track layout. As such, it represents a realization of a major ambition by F1 owners Liberty Media, who have made expanding the sport's reach in America a key aim since taking over in 2017. It's amazing that Formula One are expanding even more." And that's the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know in the comment section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!